Hi, I'm Mark Douglass from Equus Workforce Solutions, and I'm here with Kyla Guyette from Workforce Mid-South, which is Memphis, Tennessee. So Kyla, what's your favorite part about being in Washington, D.C.?
Washington, I love the energy of Washington. I get very excited as I fly in. I start seeing all the monuments. We see all the buildings. It feels energetic here. And then you get to the Washington Hilton every year and you see all of your friends that you have seen over Zoom for the last year. And you get to really connect. And it's the time you get to be really nerdy about the stuff that you love the most, that workforce stuff that most people don't want to hear about. And you have 1,000 people in the room that all want to hear about it and talk about it. So I love it.
You've been doing workforce development for more than a year.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
So for me, workforce development has really evolved over time. My understanding of what it is, my involvement has evolved over time. When I started, I really loved the interaction with participants every day and the idea of getting to change someone's trajectory. You know, here's a job, let me connect you to it, and here's where you get to maybe change your family, change what you get to do with your life. As I've moved up, I've really gotten to see the bigger picture, the overall impact of workforce development as an industry and what we do, and the way that we change entire families, communities, cities. We have a Ford investment some people may have heard about. We have Ford coming in for a $6 billion investment. And with that, we are talking about how do we change all of Tennessee, all of the Mid-South. It is going to look different because of one investment that we were able to help people get and all of the training that we're going to be able to upskill folks into those opportunities. And it's going to change the way the Mid-South looks forever and ever. And so those kinds of things are impactful to me, but especially because I love the way that we get to long-term imprint on the rest of the world in our community.
How big's that plant going to be?
That plant is 4 million square feet. So they are going to be building the most technologically advanced plant in North America specifically, but it's going to be one of the most technological plants in all of the world. They're going to be building some really cool electric vehicles, the Ford Lightnings, and so SK innovative batteries are going to be built there. And we're looking at 6,000 folks being hired at that plant, which is called Blue Oval City. But we're going to probably need about 30,000 jobs to support that plant. So out of a cow pasture, we'll form an entire city that did not exist before Blue Oval City.
So 30,000 new jobs coming to the greater Memphis area. Obviously, young adults are going to get an opportunity that their parents didn't have.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the community to get them ready for that?
Yeah, so Opportunity Youth, most people don't know that Memphis is home to the largest population of Opportunity Youth per capita than anywhere in the country. We have about 40,000 young adults that are not connected to work or to school or doing anything, plus all of our students coming out through our K-12 system. And then adults, we have about a 60% work participation rate. So as we look at this pool of folks, it's what could we be doing now to better prepare all of those individuals into advanced manufacturing. But we've talked a lot about that, and we forget that it's every job. You know, they have jobs posted out there right now for nurses, for paramedics, for construction, for accountants. It's every job that you can imagine they are going to need to build this city and really transform West Tennessee. So we've gotten really specific about how we are doing accelerated credentialing. I think that's something that we have not taken advantage of enough in our particular part of the country. We forget that folks really can't take a year out of their life, sometimes 2 years, to go into a trade or go into that occupational credential through a traditional educational track. So we are pushing hard and heavy for those accelerated skills that cut that time to at least a third of what it normally would be, to rapidly get all of those young adults engaged in activities that are going to help build that new West Tennessee.
So our workforce funding
Yeah.
always seems to be late.
Yes.
And the big demand, for growth is one thing, but we're looking at an economy that's in full recovery, full back to employment where we were. We have people that exited the job
Yep.
market. And if you look out in the next 6 months, there's a lot of risk. There's inflation.
Mhm.
There's the potential for a recession. We have employees that are used to serving one way.
Yeah.
What happens to the system if we don't get the funding we need in time to really handle big volume?
Yeah, so I think that's always been a challenge, but more now than ever, we have to seize the day that we are in. Department of Labor, as much as I love the way that it operates, it's very much in a lagged system, and we are reactionary. And right now, folks are needing to us to grab a hold of kind of that kite tail and go now. And so our system runs the risk of becoming irrelevant, one, if it does not move with people at the speed that they are needing it to. It really runs the risk of becoming irrelevant to business, which, as we know, should be our primary customer all the time. We talk about that. But our businesses need us to be reactive with that funding and that assistance right now to meet those needs. And if they don't, they're going to come up with an alternative way of doing it. That's the way business works, right? If you don't meet my need, I will figure it out without you. And so as a system, as a very heavy funded and invested system, we need to figure out how to be best nimble to meet that need so that we can remain the one-stop shop, the one area where folks can go, because we will be replaced if we are not meeting their needs.
And we've talked about what is a good job. Like we've talked about, we both have worked in the business for a little while.
Yeah.
We both started at the very front of the line.
Yeah.
I think my first budget, project director, was a $20 an hour job.
Yes.
I've got a 19-year-old that his first real job pays $20 an hour. How are we redefining what a good job is within just workforce development?
Yeah. So I think people have shifted a little bit on what they value as a good job, right? Of course, everybody wants the wage rate to be enough to sustain themselves, sustain their families. There's many times when I, as a kid, as a young workforce development person, was living in an apartment with no furniture, eating ramen noodles, right? Because I really wanted to do this work. But folks need to be able to support themselves, support their families. We always say our frontline workers should not qualify as customers for this system. We need to pay a living wage to make sure that those that are really great for this work are invested in this work and doing it. But folks care about other things. They care about work-life balance. They care about, are they getting to be involved in the community and see the change? Outside of the American Job Center, just having somebody ring a bell when they get a job, can I go to an event and be in a community and see actual change happening? That's important to folks. Having flexibility to work from home, that's a huge topic for everybody, the remote work and telework. And in Greater Memphis, we're looking at additional ways that we can make that more viable than we ever have before, through serving folks through kiosk systems, where you don't necessarily have to come to a brick and mortar. If you're in the bus terminal, you can connect through a kiosk and directly reach somebody right there, and they will be able to give you supportive services, bus passes, incentives right through your kiosks. And I have an American Job Center staff person that may be able to do that from their home and manage a couple of kiosks from their home. So it's work-life balance for that individual. It's better access for participants. I just think we're having to get creative on how we are defining our jobs and what's important to folks.
So you're the kettle and I'm the pot. You don't have real good work-life balance, if I guess.
Yes.
What are you going to do about that?
The sad part, it's not even sad. It's because I love what I do so much, right? People ask what you do for your spare time, and I work. And what do you do for fun? I work. Because I love this so much. I've incorporated little ways of taking time breaks, mental breaks. I'm going to start swimming, so I will swim in the middle of the day for a mind break. But other than that, I do what I do because I love it. I'm terrible at work-life balance because I love my work so much.
So as a senior executive now,
Yes.
you're a role model for a lot of young ladies. As you look back on your career, what are the one or two things you would say to that 20-something that says, man, it's a hard way to get there, and I don't know if I want it, but man, that's really impressive. How do I get there? Like,
Yeah.
what's the story?
Yeah. I remember being 20 and being in this industry of having a lot of women at the front line, not a lot of women at the senior executive level, and seeing a couple of really amazing women and saying, I want to be that one day. And it took a lot of hard work, and I was never afraid of working hard. And I think you have to really be sure that it's worth it to you, right? That you're willing to put in the work. But if you are, there is absolutely nothing that can stop you. I am, you might say, a little tenacious sometimes.
One of the words.
Yeah. So I have been really dedicated to getting what I want in life and coming up with that career path. But I will say, I changed college majors 4 times. So it's not that I woke up one day and knew exactly what I wanted to be. I tried lots of things until something felt right. It felt like the thing that was going to keep me awake every day and that I was worth fighting for. And so I tell young girls all the time, it's okay to try lots of things. It's okay to not like everything and to not be great at everything. My parents had you can be a doctor or a lawyer kind of trajectory. Guess what? I don't like inorganic chemistry and I hated law school. So they don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got here. But I found the thing that keeps me up at night, still energized and still engaged 20 years in. And so I tell young women all the time, find your thing, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Keep on going, you can do that.
How about a message for your team back at home?
My team back at home is amazing, both my board staff and my American Job Center staff. I can't even believe the amount of change and turmoil and things that they have overcome in the last 2 years, all the way from new contractors to a pandemic to starting a nonprofit organization, our board transitions. I have come into Memphis 3 years ago. 3 years was our benchmark, and I came in with dreams and a vision and people just having to trust that. And I cannot thank them enough for coming on the journey and starting to see the payoffs that we're seeing. I have a hardworking team. I have a team that understands Memphis is grit and grind, and nothing embodies our team like grit and grind. That's what they have done, and we can't wait to see all of the cool things that are going to happen there.
Kyla, this has been fantastic. Thank you for taking time. You're a big partner of ours and
Yes.
a big partner of the workforce development system, and you really are leading the way. Thank you.